Hey everyone, it's Milan Simone, the Indigo Oracle, and I thought I'd do a video on some out-of-body experiences that I've had. It may be helpful for other people who are maybe just going through that or want evidence that it actually occurs. So today I like to give the date. Today is July 4th, 2017, so happy 4th of July, Americans. I hope you're enjoying your day. So I wrote down a few notes because I wanted to remember what were the ones I wanted to talk about. So mainly I'm going to cover some out-of-body experiences, astral travel, and remote viewing, and near-death experiences. And all of the above I've actually had. So it's really, after you get through them and you understand and you're no longer afraid of these experiences, it's actually quite exciting when you have these moments. It sounds, in hindsight, I can say that, but in the moment it was pretty intense, and I wasn't aware of what was going on, and I wasn't aware that it was actually a special power that everyone on the planet really has, and some of us are just more awakened, have woken earlier to it than others. So the first story I want to talk about is what I call the light switch story. So this was at a time, sorry, my nose is a little runny. This was at a time when I was fairly sick, and I was going through chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue, and I could barely get out of my bed, and I remember having to make a choice between taking a shower or making food. And so, because that's all the energy I basically had. And so it was really rough on my body. And one night I fell asleep. I probably, there was a method, like I had to, in order to rebuild all my adrenals, I had to go to bed at a certain time. I had to have blackout curtains. I needed to have soft music. I had to do a castor oil pack. I had to do all these things in addition to exercise and walk and eat at a regular time to rebuild the system. So it was one of those nights. I think I did a castor pack, and I was super tired, and I fell asleep. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and it was pitch black, and I hadn't been used to sleeping in black, so it was a little jarring for me. And so there was a light thing over my bed. So I reached up and I was like, click, 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 and it wasn't coming on. And I was like, oh, okay, well maybe sorry, it was a lamp. So I was like, click, click, it wasn't coming on. So I was like, well maybe the light switch is off. And so I got out of the bed, and I'm trying to move the light switch. And I'm like, I know I'm pressing it up and down, but nothing's happening. And then I look back at the bed and I walk over and I go, holy shit. That's me in the bed. I had gotten out of my body, and that's why the lights wouldn't work. The thing is, I could touch the things, but I had no energy. I wasn't in that reality, so I couldn't actually physically turn the light. So I remember being shocked and looking in the bed and being like, there's a body in there. It must be mine. How do I get back in this body? I'm freaking out. I don't want to be in the middle world. So I just decide to lay back in the bed. And I felt this huge amount of pressure, physical pressure, and almost like a pain. And then when I got back into the bed, I immediately woke up in my physical body, was panic and breathing hard. My eyes were super wide open. And then I turned on the lights just to make sure, and of course the light came on. So that's one experience that was kind of what is that? That's never happened before. And so the next one I want to talk about, this one's a good one. So this is years ago. This is when I didn't know that I was intuitive. I wasn't aware of it. I had a boyfriend at the time, and we attempted to play games of telepathy, and I'd be like, what color am I thinking of? And he'd be like, green. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm thinking of green. We felt so connected. And or at least we were available to reading what was available for us at that time. And so I felt really connected to this person. And one night, and this is astral plane travel. So one night we were on the phone, and I don't remember what it was. I was studying abroad in Australia, and he was here in LA. And I remember being upset with him, and I don't know what we were arguing about. I don't know what it was about. I was just irritated, and I was so mad. And I think I was more mad because, just a little bit of backstory, because I had a bigger expectation, and he was supposed to fulfill that expectation. He had made promises to fulfill that expectation, and he was telling me he wasn't going to. And I was irritated because in my mind that was the final. I was like, you either do this or I can't handle this relationship anymore. So anyway, we're having this conversation. I'm like super angry. But, I'm not really expressing it 100% to him. I get off the phone, I go to bed, and I have this, I'm dreaming. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of water. I think it's a dream. And I'm in this room, and I know it's my boyfriend's apartment. And it's pitch black. And all I can kind of see is like these beady eyes. Like I can almost see myself in the room. So there's these beady eyes and kind of like this dark shadowy thing, which is me. And I'm crawling around in the room, and I go behind his TV and I start like pulling out cords. And as I'm pulling out the cords, I'm laughing hysterically in like not in a sinister way. I was just like, ha ha ha, like, you can't, ah. And I pulled out all these cords, and I was like so proud of myself. And then I like woke up and I was like, whatever. And I get this call the next day, and immediately my boyfriend says, what did you do? And I go, what are you talking about? And he's like, I know you did it, Milan. I was like, what? And he's like, my PlayStation is broken. He's like, I don't know what you did to it, but it won't start. He's like, I keep trying to plug it in. I keep trying to do this, and it's just not going to happen. And I died, and I told him what happened in the dream, and I was like, I can't believe I did that. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know that I had that power to do it. But anyway, so that's a little funny story. Could be a coincidence, but I highly doubt it. And then, because weirder things happen in my life. And then another remote viewing astral plane kind of experience. I was falling into a deep sleep. So this is always kind of happening when I'm sleeping. I haven't been able to do it necessarily or try to do it in a waking state, which will be a good challenge. But this is all like without real intention. Like I'm not sitting there going, oh, I want to pull out the plugs in my boyfriend's PlayStation and break his things. Or I'm not going, oh, I hope I can jump out of my body and have evidence that I'm out of my body by not being able to turn on this light. Like it's literally it's a reveal. So it's the soul is doing it on purpose. I am experiencing it on accident. So in this experience, I was probably falling asleep meditating or something, and I was really heavily deep into doing yoga. And I was going to Kundalini Yoga at Golden Bridge in Hollywood at their old location, not their very old location, but the second one that was behind ArcLight. And so I love that place. If you've ever listened to the Manifesting Stories one, the one where I moved to LA, you'll get a little tidbit about that yoga studio in general and how I had guides come in to like lead me to do that work because that was a part of my journey. And now I look back, I'm like, oh, that really activated me, like into my yogi potential, into my spirituality, into believing more and more about my psychic abilities and gifts. Okay, so aside from that, so the yoga studio, I'm falling asleep, I'm in my REM, and I'm thinking, I'm like halfway asleep, halfway awake. I'm like, oh, I really wish I could go to Golden Bridge, like that would be really nice, but I'm so tired, like I wish I could go. And then all of a sudden I just saw my feet in front of a door, and I was outside, and I was like, oh, okay. And I just like held the door and pulled it back, and I was like, wait, this door is heavy as shit. Like, holy shit, and my hand let go, and I was like, I'm fucking here. And then I woke up. Because the thing is, when you're in dreams, you don't really feel the weight of stuff. Like, really think about it. When you're touching a door handle, when, like, you're driving a car, it's almost like you're one with everything. Like, you don't really have a sensation. Maybe you have feelings, emotional feelings, but you don't have that tangible, I'm touching, and the heaviness of it. So I held onto that door, and it freaked me out because I realized it was actually physically there. Like, I had jumped into an astral plane and moved into that space. So it was a little bit of like a remote viewing astral plane experience. And let's see what else is on this. Oh, so this one is a little like heavier, but it's still kind of cool. It's like something that I still don't really understand, but because I've listened to other near-death experiences and they kind of mention this, I want to kind of just believe that it's a part of that. So, my near-death experience, again, back with being really sick. So I was very sick. This is before I knew what I had, and I was just in pain. And I was not able to digest food. I wasn't sleeping. I was in high anxiety. I had a lot of issues. And when that's happening to your body, your emotions are very high because your body's not actually getting fed. So every emotion's intensified. If you're angry, you're like super angry. And you'll be anxious actually a lot. You're really anxious and fatigued at the same time. So anyway, I was going through all these emotions and not really knowing what was going on and very afraid. And now that I look back, guys, it was actually my ascension to my next level. But I wasn't aware of what ascension symptoms were. And I also wasn't aware of what to do to take care of my body to help process ascension symptoms, which I do know now, and there's a video about it if you guys are having that experience, because it's very helpful and it will help you get there, and you won't have to struggle as much as some of us who've gone through it before. That's why we share these videos or the information and guidance for you. So anyway, back to the story. So I didn't know I was going through my ascension symptoms, and I was very weak, and I remember crying and telling God, I was like, I just want to go home. Like, I'm suffering so much. I don't feel like I can live. I was underweight. I wasn't able to put any weight on. I wasn't able to digest food. I was just like in a horrible spot. And all the emotions that I had that I was able to cover up for a really long time, through experiences, through relationships, through other people, through food, through whatever, I no longer had those outlets because I was too weak to go out. I was not able to eat it to protect myself. I also felt very alone because I was going through this and I didn't have support, and no one knew what was happening to me, including myself. So I felt very, very ill, and as if the world and everything wasn't working, and I wanted to go home. I remember saying that so much that year, just let me go home. And when I say home, I mean heaven. I mean back out to the stars, because I definitely knew at that time I was galactic, and I definitely know that I do live out in a star planetary alignment somewhere in another physical reality. So I'm laying on the floor and I'm listening to like a sound current thing, because I thought that would help, and it did. I was like, okay, this will help my heart. This will help me feel better, because also my heart was going through a lot of pain, and that's a couple of reasons. Like, some of it's the physical symptoms. So like when you are basically, I was basically turning into anorexic, even though I wasn't able to work out. It was just like underweight. I was dying. I was starving to death. Your heart actually gets really weak and it kind of suffers. So I was having this like massaging pain in my heart, and it just hurt so bad. And so I thought, well, I'll listen to this music and maybe that'll help calm it down. And I also had like a bunch of stuff going on in my solar plexus, like a lot of like, felt like fire. It felt like a sensation of burning and cramping at the same time, and that was like all the time. Like that was happening no matter what I did. So I was in a lot of like of this pain, and it was showing up physically. So I lay down on the ground and listened to this music, and I was praying to go home, and I was like, please just take me. Like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know how to get through this. And I fell asleep, or what I think is what I fell asleep, and I saw all this light, and the light turned into like a blue light, a very, very like baby blue light, and I was floating in it. So I was in this light, and then I heard trumpets, and the trumpets were so loud, they were like in my ear, and I was like, where am I going? And then I was like, oh, this feels so good, and the next thing I know, I'm smack down back into my body, and I'm like, like, where am I? I didn't want I would go back to the trumpets. So that was my near-death experience. It wasn't as exciting as some other people's, but I do know that some people have heard the trumpets of Gabriel when they're passing over. So the universe is like, yeah, you can kind of get your wish, but you still got work to do, and I'm really glad that it didn't happen, because obviously I've grown, and obviously I'm here doing my work, and I'm here doing my mission, and I'm a stronger, better, more powerful, integrated person, and these things were just stages to help me get to this point in my evolution and my growth. So now that I'm in this space, I can look back and go, oh, okay, the world wasn't against me. And now I take that in essence with when I'm going through transitionings and triggers in this time, in this now, and understanding that it's for my growth, it's to help me. It's to make me stronger. And for you guys out there who may be watching, just trust that the things you're going through, you're going to get through them. You're going to be stronger than you were before. And that's the exciting part. But any of the supernatural stuff that you're going through that's freaking you out, it's normal in the beginning to feel that way, but eventually it becomes like kind of exciting, and you know that it's just supernatural. You know that it's just a part of you, so there's no need to fear it, because as you go upon your levels, you may have different stages. Like I went through a stage last year, and this is not to scare anyone because I don't really believe in dark energy in that way, but I kept having a demon visit me in my dreams, and the demon was myself, so I'm not afraid of it. I know that the demon, there's laws, and the demon cannot take over me. What I can do when the demon shows up is give it as much love as possible and face it with that. And that way I'm integrating, if it's a demon I've created, I'm integrating that demon back into my own love. So it no longer has power over me. So, and it was fine. I mean, when it would show up, I'd be like, oh, it's here, okay. Pray to Mother Mary. I'll think about love. What do you want to say to me? What do you want me to know? Thank you. And then it integrated, and now it doesn't exist anymore in that form because I've put love into it, and it's now released. So, if you have any questions, if you've experienced any supernatural experiences and you just want to share, leave them in the comments. Like, I love hearing this stuff. And if you have any questions for me, leave it in the comments too, and feel free to ask because I would love to answer. So you guys enjoy yourselves. I'm going to post the full moon reading pretty soon, so I'll have a link for that as well. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.